Welcome to Graced by Rain, a podcast about the beauty in life. I'm your host, Elaine Shircliff. Welcome back, everybody. It has been a phenomenal week. This is Monday, so it is the beauty of the Grand Rapids Griffins, where I talk about something I found beautiful from the week before. It is the Griffins' 30th season, and there has been plenty of beautiful things that have happened, especially on the ice. The team is now 8-0. They are off to the hottest streak they have ever had in the history of the team. It has been a full team effort. And I think that's what makes this team so special, is from top to bottom, there is not one player who is not producing. Like, they are all producing, even if it's not on the stat sheet, they're providing something of value to the game. With that being said, every single person other than the goalies have a point. And honestly, at this point, I feel like it's only a matter of time before Sebastian Gosa and Michael Postava have a point, because why not? um, John Leonard currently leads the team with 11 points in 7 games. He has 9 goals. He's currently on a 6-game goal streak, which is insane to start the season. And then Amadeus Lombardi has 9 points. He's second on the team with Dominic Shine. Shine has 6 goals, 3 assists, while Ammo has all 9 assists. All of them are assists. And you know what? On the goals that he's assisting, he is writing up plays. He's moving them along. He is a key part of those goals happening. So if you look at that and you think that, oh, he's a center, he should be scoring, yes and no. Like, he is doing a phenomenal job getting his wings to score. And I love it. He is a composer. He is composing a beautiful symphony for this 30th season. For me, though, what I found particularly beautiful is not something that was on the ice. I also didn't get to interview this player, but Bob Kaiser did. And he put it on the intermission report during Saturday's game against Rockford. And it was a lovely, lovely interview. And it gave great insight into the mindset of Erik Gustafsson. And it's beautiful. He is a beautiful soul. You can tell by the way he was talking to Bob and what they were talking about. And there are a lot of guys on the team who seem to have just this beautiful mindset. But I really, part of it I also resonated with in this interview. I didn't cut clips of the interview. I didn't have a chance to ask if that was okay to do, since it wasn't I wasn't involved in that interview in any way. So it was on AHL TV on Flow Hockey. So if you have Flow, go back to Grand Rapids versus Rockford in Rockford on Saturday, November 1st, 2025. The first half of the interview takes place during the first intermission, and then the second half takes place during the second intermission. I highly suggest listening to it. It was really great to get to know him through Bob. I haven't had a chance to meet him or talk to him yet. His time's coming, though, because he's playing really well. And based on what I heard in this interview, I would love to meet him. So the first thing that I want to discuss about his mindset that I loved is In the interview, he and Bob talked about how finding out his daughters had celiac disease and just how hard it was pre-diagnosis, especially when the one was so young, probably around like 6 months, maybe a year. I'm not quite sure. They weren't unable to talk yet, so they couldn't really tell their parents what was wrong. But they were losing weight, they were bloated. And when they finally found out, there were changes, that needed to be made. Before those changes all full went into kind of effect, one of the things they did was just give her whatever she wanted to eat, as long as it was gluten-free, because she was hungry and she hadn't been eating. Because, when you have that disease, and you eat something you shouldn't be eating, it just messes with your body, your immune system, your mental, like everything. It's all connected. And it's rough. It's not fun. And everyone in the household is gluten-free. Not just one person is gluten-free, or two people, like they're all eating gluten-free food. Um, and he did also mention how he gets nervous at school, when the kids are at school, because you can't control what's being passed around, with like class snacks and lunches, other people's lunches. So he's also made the point to say that he's proud of his kids, because it's not an easy thing. I know that it's not an easy thing, because while I was not diagnosed celiacs, but I have a gluten allergy. It's not as severe, um, but it comes with its own set of challenges as well. Um, and I got a good laugh at at him saying that, like, they gave her whatever she wanted. The doctor said eat what she, eat whatever she wants, as long as it's gluten free. Because after we finally figured it out, I was like, all right, what's gluten free? Okay, so like this candy is, and this steak is. So all all I ate for a while was like carrots and steak and candy, because it was the only thing that didn't hurt me. And I was trying to get used to this new diet, and I just was afraid to eat, and those things didn't um, make me sick. So, and as I've gone along, it hasn't been as bad for me, like if I've been glutened, but it's still awful, right? Like growing up, I thought that that's what healthy was, and now I know what healthy is. Um, and so when I get glutened, it's awful. I'm like, how did I live like this? How did I live like this for 2 decades? Like how did I handle this? I thought that's just what normal people felt like. So that really resonated with me, and I really loved hearing that as well. My mom got a kick out of it too, because she was like, yeah, there's nothing like watching you have like carrots with a side of steak and candy all the time for like months, until I finally felt confident enough to eat other things or drink other things, that were gluten free. Because it is scary. Like he said, like you're always looking at labels, you're trying to make sure that what you're putting in your body is correct. And I know that sometimes I get lax about it, and then I regret it. I regret it hardcore most of the time. Um, and luckily, like I said, it's not to the same level as a celiac, but it's still bad. It's not fun. Um, but what I really loved is he said everyone eats gluten free. That was a really tough transition in the house. I was living with my parents, and it was a struggle for my dad, especially. And then to find out that my mom also has has it. So at that point, he was like, I've lost the battle. Like, I have to be really good about not bringing gluten into this house, because now there's two of them, and it's 2-1. So we were going to win anyways. But I can't tell you how many times, like, I've moved in with someone, and I would be like, hey, before we move in, before we agree, I need you to know, like, I have an allergy and I can't use the same pans as you. We can't use the same toaster. I have to use different silverware. I just need to be very careful. And I need to make sure that, there isn't things like flour flying around the house, right? Because I also got granted the dermatitis form of it as well. So I will break out into little like rashes if I'm using a makeup or a shampoo that has gluten in it because I'm apparently God's favorite. um, but I'd have those conversations with people and they'd say, yeah, it's no big deal. And then I would move in with them and I would see them make like mac and cheese in a pan. Um, they would decide they wanted to make homemade bread and there would just be like flour flying all around the kitchen. Um, they would bake cakes in my cake stuff. And so I've had to get rid of a lot of stuff multiple times, and it's a lot of money to replace that stuff. Every time I've had a roommate, they've used my toaster. Okay, it's really hard to clean a toaster. And once it goes gluten used, you can't really go back on that one at all. Um, which sometimes didn't even know that they use the toaster. And then I would have something and I'd be like, wow, I feel so sick. Like it's not immediate for me. It's maybe like an hour down the road. And all of a sudden my stomach's like, I hate you. Or I just feel like really just off. And feel really sick. And during cold and flu season, it's the worst time for me to get gluten because then my immune system drops and no fun. I end up getting sick, and it's not like a little sick. I'm sick for like a week and a half because now my body's been opened up to like accepting all the horrible germs and not being able to fight them off. So hearing someone say that now they all eat gluten-free is beautiful to me because it's rare that I get to experience that. It's even rare that when I go out with people that they actively try to find places that cater gluten-free. Um, and it's already hard enough like to go out to eat anyways. Like I don't go out as much because there's too much cross-contamination. Unless you're in a completely gluten-free restaurant, it is too hard to say like that this is safe to eat. If I had celiacs, I probably would only ever eat at home. I'm not gonna lie. So from an off ice perspective, I really love his mindset on that. Um, because not everyone's willing to do that. They're not willing to make that change. So I get it. I get why people don't want to do it. But when you're already in it and you're already with them, I love that it felt like it wasn't a second thought, that like we're all going to do this together. And I also love that he was proud of his kids for how they're handling it because it's not easy. It's not easy as an adult. But as a kid, I cannot imagine how hard it would have been to have school parties or birthday parties where people are like, hey, why are you eating my cake? Like you are always having gluten thrown at you as a child, right? Um, Cakes, cookouts with not just baked goods, but with buns, like I can't eat hot dogs really anymore because there's no good gluten-free bun. They're just all bad. They're not great. Um, but he made that choice, and I think that's beautiful. Now, the second part of this interview that I found really beautiful too was him talking about getting sent down from Detroit to Grand Rapids and that it was tough. Um, and I loved it because his exact quote was about how he's feeling now is my mentality is wherever you go, whatever you do, always wake up with a smile on your face and go to work and do your thing. And he expanded upon that by talking about how coming down was tough, but complaining wasn't going to get him anything. It wasn't going to do anything, you know? Um, and he just wants to be the kind of guy who is happy. He wants to be known as the happy guy, and that he's had a great career so far, and it's been a lot of fun. What more can you ask from a guy who has played on so many NHL teams? He has been around for quite some time, and he, yes, he acknowledges that it was tough that he's now in the AHL, but for him to say that he wants to be the happy guy on the team, um, and he acknowledges how great his career has been and that it's been a lot of fun. That's simply beautiful. And just that mentality of always waking up with a smile on your face and going to work and doing your thing. What a lovely way to be able to live life. That you just get up and you have that smile on your face and you go to work and you do your thing. I know it's not always easy to do that, right? I had to change jobs because I was starting to be unable to do that. But if you have that mentality of waking up, smiling, going to work, acknowledging that you have this great life, it's going to be really hard not to appreciate parts of your day. And I think that kind of mentality that he has, that mindset, that thankfulness, that willingness to adapt to a new diet, that willingness to adapt to a new town, and that willingness to embrace that he does have this good life. And even though it's being down here isn't what he had initially wanted, he's still able to enjoy his craft, to enjoy what he's doing. Um, I think that kind of mindset helps a team. When you have guys on the team who will stand up to the call, who will adapt, who will adjust, and they will embrace what has been given to them and make the best of it and do the best while making the best of it, you're going to have beautiful things happen on that ice and in the locker room, as we are seeing already with Grand Rapids. They're hot, and part of the reason is because of people like Erik Gustafsson who have this mindset, this beautiful, beautiful mindset. I mean, even last week, talking about Rope and Dan Watson, talking about how they want the guys to really enjoy it and be in that moment. And Rope talking about how every day is a good memory. And then this week, I'm hearing Erik Gustafsson say that like he is embracing this this moment down here, and that he's waking up with a smile on his face to go to work. I mean, you hear those things and you think, wow, that makes sense why the team is doing well, because they all seem to have a healthy mindset. Um, so I love it. I hope that this continues for the team, this hot streak. And if it doesn't, I know that they're going to bounce back because the people like Erik Gustafsson know how to adapt to any situation that life throws at them. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I look forward to doing this again next Monday. These are literally my favorite episodes to do. So I love showing people the beauty of this sport, and I love to show them the beauty of this team because this team is full of a bunch of beauts, okay? Absolute beauts. All right. I hope you all have a great week. I hope that the Griffins and hockey and life provide you with some of the most beautiful moments. Have a great one. And remember to be kind and love always.
My theme music is One Light by Nick Wilkinson and the Featured Players. You can find their latest album, Live, Volume 1, on Bandcamp and Spotify. Live Volume 1 was recorded in front of a live audience on May 26, 2017, at Jilly's Music Room in Akron, Ohio.